back again.
Come on, Ian. Come on, Ian, people. Deluded, I'm back again. First things first, good morning, good afternoon, good evening, and in some cases, good night. Big up you lot, whether you're on YouTube or Twitch. Now, Arsenal fans is peak right now, isn't it? Like, I don't want to do too much because I do think we'll get out of that rut. You know, we'll start winning games again and doing all of those things. Whether the damage has been done already, where the Premier League's concerned, yeah, we can still get through in the Champions League. Whether this has raised concerns about Mikel Arteta, the level of players we've got, what we did or didn't do in the transfer market, and where we go from here, these are all very good talking points, people. Now, for me, it's peak. I'm going to get into it, yeah, but I'm very disappointed. You know, Mikel Arteta, and I'm going to bring it up. If we go back to 2020, you spoke about crossing. Now, I love the fact, not so much now in this season, but we've got a lot more steel defensively. We brought a lot of physicality and height. We've added, which has been unheard of as an Arsenal fan of 29 years of age, you know, crosses and whatnot. But there has to be balance. We've gone too much the other way, maybe because of certain players being injured. But at the end of the day, we're not looking like a team that plays with a swagger. For me, against Inter Milan, I actually think the performance, again, keyword, please don't lose what I'm saying. The performance didn't correlate to winning, but the performance was significantly better than the Newcastle game. You look at the possession, the chances created, the chances we had, the corners, the crosses. I think we put in a performance that was somewhat acceptable at the San Siro and a great reaction versus Newcastle. But at the same time, by that same token, people, and there are some positives to take from the performance. You know, the performance only goes so far because we didn't win. That's the main thing. And it's very naive. We're crossing, you know, there's no real speed to our play. We're crossing for no reason, really and truly, which is, you know, we've got height. But Inter Milan have 6 foot plus defenders and they're playing free at the back. That's food and drink. Yes, in the second half, you know, Inter Milan had to absorb a lot of pressure, really and truly. Maybe the Arsenal of last season or until we hit that blip, Inter Milan did to us what we normally do to teams. It's uninspiring. There's no creative outlet. Mikel Arteta, I'm not going to lie, you know, the game management at times during your reign has been unacceptable. And for me, Inter Milan, you cost us in that regards. I know Odegaard isn't fully fit, yada, 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 but from a man's on the bench, you're telling me he can't play more than 5 minutes. You're bringing on Odegaard with nothing to do. Ethan Brick comes on too late. And just the very fact that Ethan received the ball, dropped a shoulder, had a shot that didn't go in, was nothing like his effort against Preston. I think my man needed to play more minutes. So Mikel Arteta, what's going on? Don't know how Martinelli and Trossard played as long as they did. I'm not saying Sterling would have done anything, but you've got man on the bench, use them. No clue why Sterling didn't come on. You know, no clue why Gabriel Jesus for me was better than a couple players. No clue why Gabriel Jesus came on at halftime. So it was bewildering. Yes, I think looking at watching the game again, probably we should have had a penalty. Obviously, they got a penalty, which was a bit, unfair to Arsenal. But at the end of the day, it's irrelevant. We didn't do enough to put the ball in the back of the net. We huffed and puffed. We really and truly didn't create any real chances. Let's be honest with ourselves. Yeah, there was a little effort that was cleared off the line by Denzel Dumfries, I believe. But not at one point did we go, Jan Sommer, oh my God, what a save. And he's a good keeper statistically, He was shaky with his playing out the back. We didn't ask any questions. And you look at Inter Milan, I think even now the fact that they beat us, they have a fantastic record in terms of clean sheets. Obviously, they're in a great run of form and whatnot where they're concerned. And they're laughing. They've got a perfect start to the Champions League campaign. They beat, in theory, one of the best teams in Europe in Arsenal. They actually rested players as well going into the week against Napoli. So yeah, it was a naive team against a street smart team. It was a team that's in a good bit of form versus a team that wasn't. As I said, I think the performance was a good reaction. Great exaggerating, was a good reaction to the Newcastle game, but it's not enough. Arteta, you have to get us out of this. I do think the performance means we can take some encouragement, but again, Mikel Arteta, a team's a reflection of the manager. When everything's going right, cool, Arteta, you get your flowers. What's going on? What is absolutely going on? Smash the likes. DG 40 crosses. Did we watch Sean Dyche's Burnley last night? I'm tired of all these crosses. I'm not tired of it. I am, in the sense of I want balance. I want us to be able to do this crossing thing and all these things that we're part of my language bitching about right now. But at the same time, is it too hard to play some 1-2s, to pop passes round the back, to look inspiring in the final third? This is not Arsenal Football Club. When you're not defending greatly, fair enough, yeah, the penalty. But when you're not defending greatly and you're not doing anything in the attacking third and you're bewildered about what's going on in the middle third, whatever way you shape it, as I always say, if I say some random names to you lot, Pep Guardiola, Conte, Jose Mourinho, Arsene Wenger, Jurgen Klopp, if I just spit out some random names, they're all good managers. They're all managers. They all got different ways of playing. Some of those managers, the most important thing to them might be the least important to others. But you all have to defend your back of your net, keep balls at the back of yours, and try and score more against your opponent. That's how football works. Football is a very simple game. It's so simple. In many aspects, it's quite complicated. But at the end of the day, it weren't good enough, was it? It weren't. And we're in a bit of a rut. And, you know, in the same way, winning can be infectious. Sometimes losing can be. And to be honest, I don't want to conflate the Premier League and the Champions League, but let's be honest, last season as well, but more so this season, there's been games we've got away with it. Let's be brutally honest, got away with it against Aston Villa. Don't get it twisted. A couple of times across the season, you can. Got away with it against Villa. Got away with it against Leicester. Got away with it against Southampton. Didn't get away with it now. Sometimes you win when you don't deserve to. Sometimes you lose when you don't deserve to. Sometimes, you know, the natural order of things balances things out. And I know it's the Champions League group stages, or apologies, people, league stages in this new format, yeah. And I don't want to do too much. But what did you see in Inter Milan? Fair enough, the ref gave the penalty. But what do we know about the Champions League? It's about moments. It is genuinely. We saw it against Bayern Munich. We've seen it with teams that got nothing to do with Arsenal. We saw it yesterday. Statistically, we was quite close. We was probably on top, but XG, all of these, you know, shots on target, crosses, XG, none of that matters. The most important stat is putting the ball in the back of the net more times than your opponent and running away with the 3 points. I can't say my team crumbled at the San Siro. I can't say you were shook. I think it was a good reaction, but unfortunately, it's another loss and it's another cloud on the team. You know, let's be honest. This kind of rhetoric around Arsenal, you know, about us not really being positive, it's been there for a while. It was there when we drew against Liverpool. It was there when we beat Shakhtar Donetsk. I'm forcing it, but I believe based on the second half against PSG, it was there. It was definitely there against Bournemouth. It's definitely there against Newcastle, and it was definitely there last night, really and truly. So we're in a, again, I think Mikel Arteta has a lot of good things. I do, but I think you make things harder than it needs to be. And in the same way, I praise you for what you're doing with the players. And when things go right, ultimately, everything's a reflection of the manager. If we look stale, if we look devoid of ideas, if we're lacking intention and invention and guile in the final third, that is coming from the manager. Make no mistake. One thing I will say with the players yesterday, numerous ones of you out there, yeah, whether you not listen, I'm gonna leave Zinchenko to a degree, Jesus, gonna leave Ethan. No one can talk nothing about Odegaard and Ethan, right? But no one was a protagonist. How many times last season, whether you know, and again, I'll even allow Saka. Saka didn't do nothing yesterday, but it's that age-old thing. If we can't get a tune out of Saka or he can't bail us out, you're scratching your head and looking around for what's going to happen. And also on top of that, the juice from set pieces has gone out, really and truly. You think Inter Milan weren't prepared for that? Inter Milan are a fantastic side. Didn't really see it yesterday, but overlapping centre halves, inverted fullbacks and fullbacks that hold the width. Kahagoglu and all typically Barella is on the bench. You know, all different little roles in midfield. You have to come better than that. You really think someone like Simeone Inzaghi, who is a great manager, really and truly, you think he doesn't know what he was to expect? We're playing into their hands with these crosses and all of these things. And again, the crosses and huffing and puffing, it doesn't go anywhere because we did not score. And at no time did you go, Jan Sommer, fucking hell, what a save. When was the last time we said that? When was the last time we said that? We never said that against Bournemouth. We never said that against Newcastle. Fair enough, we got a point against Liverpool. What's going on? And going back, people, see, Arsenal making me cough. One sec. Going back to the players, the only thing I would say with the players, I saw no protagonist yesterday. I don't care if people rate Trossard, Martinelli, Bukayo Saka, Kai Havertz, all of them. Last season, a lot of you were standing up to be counted. Whether we won, lost, or drawn, I looked at players and I could say, yeah, you're with it. I'm not going to quite say you're hiding, but I saw no one grabbing the game by its nuts and saying, yo, we're going to do this. I didn't see that yesterday. So this is why we find ourselves in the mess. And to be honest, Mikel Arteta, you know, you're doing the same things again and again and again. And maybe if you truly have conviction in your ideas and we get out of it and we're flying, great. But you're doing the same things again and again, hoping for different results. Does that make sense? really. And I'm not a fan of everybody piling onto Mikel Moreno. I think a lot of fans, these tacticals, these XGs, all of these craps, they're a big reason as to why Mikel Moreno is facing the heat. I don't think he was that bad. Yes, people are gonna, as they say on social media, stinker and hooked. And I can't say he's impressed me, but I don't think he was terrible yesterday. I think he got done dirty. Arteta might be trying to save a bit of face and sitting there and saying, yeah, he had an injury and whatnot. But I tried to warn you lot. Mikel Moreno is a Spanish Declan Rice. And what I mean by that is, respectfully, you're a water carrier. You're someone that wins the ball back, wins duels, gives it to the more players with swagger. Anyone that thought, my man is replacing Granit Xhaka, hell no. The only thing he's replacing Xhaka is he's playing on the left-hand side. Guys thought he was gonna unlock this and unlock that. The man's a squad player. He's not. He's a level raiser. He's not a curtain raiser. He's a floor raiser. Sorry, he's not a ceiling raiser, and that's not his fault. And Mikel Arteta, again, a team's a reflection of the manager. If Odegaard's not there, Odegaard not being there merely highlights the lack of creativity we have, or the emphasis on creativity that we have in this team. Yes, Odegaard makes a difference. Arteta, for a while now, it's been, and I'm not knocking it because, again, with balance, I like a lot of it, but we've gone the other way. We not so much this year, but typically we set up defensively, we press well, we think about the opposition. We know maybe Bukayo Saka or someone, is gonna cross the ball. We're gonna head it home. Those fine margins are gonna see us win. That's not sustainable for 38 Premier League games, however many is in the new Champions League format, FA Cup, League Cup, whatever have you. And as I said before that game, we might look back in this period and say, this is where the season was done. We might look back in this period and say, this is where Arsenal went up a level. We might look back and say, this is where it was won or lost. It's down to Mikel Arteta and these players to fix up and write whatever narrative you want to write. Too much money's been spent. There's been too much stability now. Something needs to happen. And I like you, Arteta. I'm not quite at the stage of Arteta out, but if people are, I can't begrudge them, because you look at Barcelona, we don't know what they're going to do. I know Xavi didn't do a madness there, but you look at how a couple of the players he brought in, La Masia, they kind of got to a degree the ship in order. And look what Hansi Flick's doing. Because Arteta is looking very funny. I hope we look back and laugh at this, but you're looking like the guy that one love for what you did from 2019, one love for that, big you up for that. But are you the man to get us into the promised land, or was you the man for the stability? Arteta isn't going to go. The man signed a new deal. Obviously, Edu's now left as well. You're not leaving mid-season. I don't know the answer because, again, I'm not one of these fans that I think too many fans harp on about, Arteta fixed us around. And I'm not, again, I'm just being honest. Arteta fixed us up and we're doing this and we're doing that. That is great. That was your job. That was your remit. That was in your best interest when you took this job. Nobody said that about Arsene Wenger. Oh, he done what he did at Highbury, Invincibles, and he paid off the stadium. People were saying sack the brother. And I'm not saying not to sack Mikel Arteta because, the age-old question would be, who do we go and get? I'm not saying keep him because there's light at the end of the tunnel. I don't know. What I'm saying is there needs to be some conversations, because I personally think Mikel Arteta needs his very own David Dein. I've got nothing against Kai Havertz. I don't think you're creating opportunities for Kai Havertz. I've said this before. I can't ask anything more of Kai Havertz beyond what I demand of all the players. I think you've excelled at Arsenal. I think you've done very well. You've done well, but it's a thing where I don't think you can draw too much blood from Kai Havertz now. You need to upgrade on that. You can't be shocked when you're getting players that are good for the squad, or players that are good but not necessarily great and don't have that stardust. When they're not cut up to task and boil and get us out of jail, there's issues. The midfield is a reflection of what Arteta wants. It's lifeless. Yeah, the only thing that's remained is we can play out from the back. Raya's got the ball and we're trying to ting. Even David Raya. I mean, I'm nothing to do with Raya. You're being told to do it by Mikel Arteta. You're lumping it long to Bukayo Saka, and Kai's pulling out to the right-hand channel. When we win it, there's nobody. It's square pegs in round holes. It's un-Arsenal. It's uninspiring. And we're shooting ourselves in the foot. As I said, the performance was dramatically better than against Newcastle. But again, it's on the floor. You didn't have to do too much. I do think there was basic competencies. And yeah, people can, I'm seeing people come out here and say we didn't deserve to lose. Yeah, you could say minus the penalty, draw's probably the fairest result, but what more did we deserve? Because if I'm harsh, you're going to put the ball in the back of the net. If you deserve a draw, you got to make it 1-1, or you get a second. And as I said, we're huffing and puffing, and on the face of it, we're having a lot of corners. You could say we kind of dominated, but really and truly, I thought we might get a goal, but when you break it down, there was no swagger. Only looked like something might happen. It might be a bit of a movie when Ethan's come on, and he ain't got long enough to do anything. Odegaard, why is he taking so long to come on? You brought on Zinni, fair enough. The subs taking too long now. Arteta, there's been numerous times this season and last where obviously me and everybody's been crying for subs. You haven't done it and it's worked. Arteta, you know more about football than I'll ever hope to know. But all of us can't be wrong, and you can't be free from criticism. It's weird because I feel there's some negative, you know, again, balanced fans. If you want Arteta out, but there's balance, cool. You love the guy, cool. But there's the fans that do too much. And then there's this, you know, I'm not saying the fans that like Arteta, but there's this weird cult. There's this weird cult. You can't say he's one of the best in the game and innovative and all of these kind of things and not hold him to high standards. It does not make sense. I like what you've done, Arteta, but you know, you know, the light bulbs, the Anfield stuff, all the mad things. You got a dog that's called win. We're not trying to win at this moment in time, or if we are, we're doing things in the wrong way. I have no doubt that your heart's in the right place, but somebody needs to, something needs to give, something needs to change. If you genuinely got conviction that we keep playing this way, something's going to happen, great, but you're shooting yourselves in the foot. You know, the only thing I would say, we do have some wiggle room in the Champions League to get through. We have dropped down to 12th now. There was some wiggle room after beating Shakhtar, beating PSG, drawing against Atalanta, you know, but we don't travel well to Italy, but it is what it is. And if I share my screen with you lot, man, like the game's the game. I've been getting a lot of banter from my friends, people. Again, look what they're doing. And missing party things been sent out for me, man. It's all mad for me. Fuck, you know, man. You live and you die by it. Now, if we go back to 2020, yeah, look at what Mikel Arteta said. I never think about the future in a negative way. I try to work as hard as I possibly can to believe that there's going to be a change tomorrow. I think it's the first time in the Premier League that we put 33 crosses in. I'm telling you, if we do that more consistently, we're going to score more goals. If we put the bodies that we had in certain moments in the box, in the game in the box, it's maths, pure maths, and it will happen. It's how consistently we can do it with what level of quality where we are. We will keep trying. Don't worry now. Fair enough. Since then, the crossing thing has worked, set pieces, it has. But you said maths. If you create 10 quality chances, you might score 2. There's not really. We are conflating possession, being in and around the area, putting crosses in, having a bunch of corners. We are conflating that with actually looking threatening, because we didn't. Inter, they probably will pat themselves on the back. They got a touch of fortune for the penalty, but then they defended well, soaked up the pressure. Arsenal huffing and puffing sideways, backwards, not really, throwing a lot of jabs, not really trying to land a knockout blow. Silliness. What Inter did is what we was doing to a lot of teams last season. And again, one thing I praised Arsenal for, generally, not so much in the Champions League, but how we conducted ourselves away from home. Away from home has been a mess. It's been a mess. The only time I'll give this club credit at this moment in time for I think you stood up real tall away from home was when we went down to 10 men against City, or even when we went 2-1 up. Fair play to a degree. Aston Villa when we took the lead, but we have not done well enough. Bournemouth did not turn up. Crap, easily, unless you somehow it's something worse. Fucking shit. Let's be honest. At Bournemouth, Newcastle, lifeless, lacking purpose, lacking invention, lacking intention, lacking some fucking courage. Yesterday, step in the right direction in terms of the performance. Not enough to want to go and score a goal. It's not on. It's not on. There's too much complacency. There's too much complacency. I have to say, and I believe certain players think they're at a level, maybe internally at the club, because we've had 2 years fighting for the league, we're at a level that we're potentially not. Over-reliance on certain players through no fault of their own because of their form and maybe exceeding expectations. And I think Arteta, you've signed up for this for how you've built the squad and how you've built the squad if there's injuries. This is how you built the squad when you look at the summer, bearing in mind we're 2 points off City. Yeah, we could be, you could assign Gyökeres and Nico Williams and, for me, that Santi Cazorla, Fabregas, regen midfielder, and I might be saying the same things, but that summer was not inspiring. It was not one of thinking, yeah, you know what, we're tired of being the nearly men. You don't have to fix it up. You're going to have to live or die by this. You're going to have to live or die by this. It's atrocious. Back-to-back losses to Inter and Newcastle, 2 wins, 1 draw, 3 losses in our last 6 games. We are in a rut. Anyone that wants to sit there like a little pussy and feel sorry for themselves connected to this football club and think, woe is me, get out. Tough times require tough men. Get your fucking selves out of this. It's as simple as that. You're not as good as you are when you think you're winning. You're not as bad as you are when you think you're losing. You're never that good. You're never that bad. Fix up. Fix up. And Arteta, if you genuinely have conviction in what you've been doing in these last few games, you better fucking make sure it works. Pardon my French. You better make sure it works, because I've got a lot of time for you. I think you are a genius. I think you have got aura. I think you are a bit of a madman. I do think you're flexible tactically. I do think you're going to win stuff. But I only care if you win stuff at Arsenal. And let's make no mistake, it's a privilege to support this football club, to play for this football club, to manage this football club, especially when you have no managerial experience. And for me, I like you, Mikel Arteta. I do. But I like my football club more. And there needs to be uncomfortable conversations. Money's been spent. Your DNA's there. Every player that you want is there. What's going on? And the people above you, you're just letting him do madness. This is why it's coming to me like Mikel Arteta needs a David Dean. You need someone to save you from the madness. Kai Havertz has worked out. But maybe that 65 million could have went on a bad boy striker. Maybe you could have got Mikel Moreno, but maybe somebody pushes for another centre mid. There's complacency. I do think you lot are pushing, but I do think there's a natural sense of complacency. Boy, it is what it is, man. It is what it is, people. Moving on. Yeah, you can look at the XG and, a lot of these, again, these stats are nothing wrong when you apply the eye test and it's footballing men. The problem is there's too many people, especially that sit on YouTube and do all this tactical bullshit, yeah? There's too many guys that can't do 10 kick-ups, never, last pick in PE if they ever got to play football. They think football is won on data graphs and spreadsheets. Yes, apply these statistics, but people will sit there and say, well, look at the XG. If you take away the penalty, things happen. Things happen. I know Arsenal fans, we're onto the refs and yes, push that agenda. But how many times have we bust case? How many times have we got away with it? How many times has the XG not been in our favor? They had 1.20, probably off the penalty. We had 2.19. I don't think they care. Italian job. There's been many times teams have had more XG and all this crap than us. We've got the 3 points. Keep it moving. Making things difficult, man. We've lost 3 of the last 6 in all comps, people. So it is where it is. It was naturally coming, prior to this season. We had 1 loss in 2024. It was going to happen. Again, this is completely irrelevant, but you've got to take heed from Luis Enrique. To be fair, it feels like all the Spanish managers kind of struggling. Pep's going through madness. Arteta's going through madness. Well, Emre's not, but even though they didn't have the best results yesterday, Luis Enrique said, we need 20 clear chances to score a goal while our opponent sneezes and scores. Now, if you didn't know Luis Enrique didn't manage PSG and he had nothing to do with Arsenal, isn't that something that could apply to us right now? Or am I chatting nonsense, people? I don't know. Yeah, we could have had a penny. I must admit, first time I saw this, I didn't think it was a pen. If you give Moreno's, you have to give that. And again, we can talk about that, but we have to apply balance. The ref's done us dirty there, potentially. It's all about the variables we can control. We can't control the inconsistencies with one pen being given or not. We can control asking questions of Jan Sommer, scoring goals, putting under some real pressure. On paper, you defended well. Midfield, I'm not sure. I don't know what's going on in the final third. I'll be absolutely real. Like, to be fair, the first 10, 12 minutes, I thought were all into, and then we grew into the game. I'll give the club that. Big up Kai Havertz. He's definitely going to have some stitches, people. As you would have seen, he had a mad injury. We hope he's all right. Arteta said the team plays the way we played here tonight. We can go to Chelsea and win. I hear that, but goals win games. What I saw is you can compete. There's a bit of desire, but there's no invention, there's no intention, there's no creativity, there's no courage to make things happen. How's an effing 17-year-old, 17 years of age? Maybe Mikel Arteta said, go and try your thing. 17 years of age showed the most courage. He's dropped a shoulder at the San Siro. Probably only seen that stadium in FIFA. Probably not even old enough to even remember Thierry Henry and all that. Dropped a shoulder and banged it. Now, I'm not saying I want to see that for 90 minutes, but Arteta, you need to take the shackles off. This is Arsenal Football Club. This is Arsenal Football Club. There used to be creativity in abundance. Even you, Mikel Arteta, you go back to the Invincibles. They probably more mimic, well, they actually won, but they probably more mimic to a degree what you're trying to do, and actually the draws game sides as well. They probably more mimic what you're trying to do than the more diminutive players that were there for the first 10, maybe even, well, I don't even know now really, but for the initial period at the Emirates, they could still play football. Patrick Vieira, tall as a lump, as big as a lump, could play football. And I think people forget that. Yaya Toure didn't play for Arsenal. He was 6 foot plus, could play football. What's going on? What's going on? I hear it. Get these dual winners. Do this NBA thing, as Marino said. But at the same time, put the fucking ball on the floor, play some passes, pop it round the corner. As I said, balance. I like the of last season, the defensive ethos and being switched on defensively and dual winners and compactness and being difficult to break down and low blocks and mid blocks and set pieces and crosses to the back post. I like that. Take that. Balance that. But now show me something. Because at the end of the day, whether you rate these players or not, Martinelli, Bukayo Saka, Gabriel Jesus, Kai Havertz, Trossard, anyone else. If I've missed out, you mean Ethan, Youngji, Odegaard. These are not bad players. And whether they're good enough to get the job done or not, these are players that you could really ask questions. If you know whether you rate them or not, these players go off to other teams. You will see them get some stats and all of that. This shouldn't be an issue. This shouldn't be an issue. And I think you've signed up for it. You're getting Sterling, which, let's be honest, it was better than nothing. You don't trust him. You know, again, let's start looking at the attackers. What attackers has Arteta bought that's banged? Really cool. Kai Havertz, we're getting a trick out of it. I won't be disrespectful to Arteta. You did improve Saka and Martinelli. Gabriel Jesus, first 6 months, great. Other than that, we're seeing the same man at City, really, where you can huff and puff, not bring that in. Kai's doing the thing. Respectfully to Kai, evident limitations on you. You're not a player that's going to drive and bang it from 30 yards. You're a facilitator in all the other aspects across 90 minutes. You need it laid on a plate for you. Even if this is why we can talk about Isaac and Gyökeres and Sesko and this one and that one, and they would all help. They would all look the exact same because we're not creating. Yeah, but they might be better. Couple of times in games like that, they might just take it, bang it from 30 yards or dance past a couple players. I don't know what's going on, man. I don't know what's going on. Arteta said, I'm very proud of my players. The level of domination we had, we were very harshly done by in a sense that is obvious. Both penalties. If you're going to give a penalty, the other one has to be because he punches him in the head. I hear that. But Arteta, I know you're not deflecting, but that's deflecting things. Because on one hand, I hear that. What about, cool, that's 2-minute flashpoint. So let's say that's 4 minutes. What about the other 86 minutes of football? What was done then? In the variables you can control, what was done? Fair play, though. I hear it. You do your thing, man. It is what it is. What's missing is just that final end product at the moment. The boxes today was decided by boxes, which is the Champions League. Every decision in the box makes a difference. It's clear. I hear that. The boxes then, once again, what are we doing? What are we doing? Because I've seen a map, whether it's working or not, Arteta, defensively, you leave no stone unturned. Midfield, the same. The final third, what's going on? And again, I like on one hand the crosses. If you can't go down one side, you go down the other. You don't necessarily force it. But by that same token, you kind of need to force it. There needs to be a bit more invention. Maybe you need to take the shackles off. Because I like the fact that you always think about the opposition. But are we thinking about the opposition too much that we're forgetting we're a football team and we need to put our own ideas and stamp on a football match? I don't know. I'm just the armchair expert on YouTube, blessed with a community like you lot. Smash the like button. I don't know, people. Yeah, we can look at possession and total shots in which there is domination, but their man scored. And there's been times we've done that. Now, away from Arsenal, it's not been nice, has it? It's not been nice, people. We had 46 crosses, 13 corners, 20 shots, and we still couldn't find a way. Now, corners, food and drink for Inter. Maybe our set piece coach has to try something else. 46 crosses. And what was killing me is, cool, you're crossing the ball into the box. They've also got 6-foot players, but you've got like 2 men in the box. They've got like 10. Am I going mad here, people? That doesn't make the maths. Arteta spoke about maths in 2020, as we saw. Is the maths mathing? Fair enough. It's not making sense. 20 shots. Let's be real. We had 20 shots. What real quality efforts did we have? One was saved off the line. I remember Martinelli trying to score with his left foot from a stupid angle. And Martinelli, you lot know me, I'm Martinelli FC. But you see you're pissing me off. You need to hold bench soon. The way you're moving, you need to just be part of the squad. You're not a first teamer. You need to get your act together. Trossard, get your act together as well. 14 corners. It was dead. Dead. Ah, man. In the Champions League in 2024, 4 games, 0 wins, 0 goals. But whoever makes this account, I might fight them. Man said the Invisibles. Have manners, man. Have manners. Let's start closing stuff as well, people, because Tab Police can be on to me. Big up you lot, though. Win, lose, or draw, we're here, people. Like, and what annoys me, you talk about these things, people call you negative. But when we're winning, nobody says calm down. Everyone, do you see what I mean about football and emotions? If it's raining outside, I'm not going to tell you the sun is shining. If it's sunny, I'm not going to say it's raining. If it's sunny, and I'll tell you there's clouds expected, like I tried to say against Villa, against Leicester, against Southampton at several points last season. If it's raining, like probably when Mikel Arteta really turned the club around, but there's a sign of sun to come, I'm going to tell you, like, there's no point lying. I love my football club way too much for that. Yeah, man. Obviously, Saka, again, I'm not going to get at Saka. You save our bacon numerous times, but it just tells you if Saka's not doing the job, we're fucked. Big up Odegaard. I mean, that's one positive. You know, you are back. Away matches in 2024. Porto dealt with. Bayern Munich, we got dealt with. Fair enough, you drew at Atalanta. But hey, we're not ready for Champions League. For me, I want to be wrong. I said the Prem is improbable. You lot got onto me for saying it on TalkSport, and I want to be wrong. Who cares about being right? I want to win shit. I said the Prem's improbable. The Champs is impossible. Yes. Regardless of how impossible it might be, I want the players to believe you could go do it. Stranger things have happened. But you ain't got the individual brilliance. You're not dominating the moments. I don't know what's going on with the tactics in the European games, but it's there. The Prem, we shoot ourselves in the foot. You know, we do well in the large part of the season, but those fine margins, and let's have it right. It's now about fine margins for Arsenal Football Club. It is. That is what's going to get us, to pip City or Liverpool to a league title. That's what's going to get you over the line. It's the moments, it's the fine margins, it's the small improvements we can make on the tactical front, on the technical front, on the recruitment front, the minuscule changes that make the maximum difference. Until we learn this, we're going to be here. And those within the club, I don't doubt you lot want to win, but how bad do you want to win? How bad do you want to win? Or are you going to sit there and say, you know what, we had 2 good years. If we finish in the top 3, if we don't get embarrassed in the champs like last year, there was an element of respect. Don't know. Because right now, just bring me the FA Cup. And even that's not enough. Just bring me the FA Cup. And Inzaghi's, well, yeah, big up Inzaghi, but I'm not reading what you got to say, man. Big you up, man. We sit 12th at this moment in time. Now we just have to keep going. I still think we go for, I'm not going to panic. You know, I think the Champions League in terms of results, excluding yesterday, have been all right. So we just have to keep going. But you need to meet, oh gosh, Sporting Lisbon away. When we went to Portugal and played Porto last season, what happened? When we went to Sporting in the Europa League, what happened? Is there a new managerial bounce? Oh, Lord. Gyökeres as well. Passed his edition against City. But either way, you got to get something against Sporting. I'm not going to lie. Big up Monaco. Big up Zagreb. Them home games there, 6 points. Girona, not quite the Girona of last season. Again, you never know what's going to happen. Our away record in Europe, can't really talk nonsense. Even our away record in the Prem, need to win that. I can't lie. Ideally, you need 12 points. Or 10 would do it. Excluding Sporting, anything less than 9 points, I don't want to hear it. I don't care how you do it. I really don't care how you do it. Just make sure you do it. Our next 6 fixtures, Sunday, we've got Chelsea, as you know. Nottingham Forest, which should, you know what the saddest thing is these kind of games that should be a walk in the park, excluding where we are at this moment in time in terms of our form is where the issues are. Look at their form and look at ours. Boy, Nuno Espirito Santo, former Spurs man, might have something for us. But you got Chelsea away, Nottingham Forest at home after the international break this coming Sunday. Sporting Lisbon away, West Ham away, Man United at home where they're going to have a new manager, Fulham away. What happened at Fulham away last season? In fact, the 2 games against Fulham. You lot get your act together. Because at the end of the day, as much as it would hurt not to win a league title or whatever, players. Because some of you can go off and play at bigger clubs and win stuff. Some of you, this is the best gig you're going to have. Some of you have been here for 2-3 years now. It must hurt you lot when people say you don't care, you're stale and this and that, and you're working and fighting together towards a common goal. Some of you at the end of your careers, instill discipline or feel the feelings of regret, because that's what you lot are gonna have in May. It's down to you lot. It's down to you guys what you want to do. You know, big up Keown. I don't understand that penalty, but if the shoe was on the other foot and that was an interplayer, I'm shameless. I'm calling for that. Arsenal are still being linked with Leroy Sané, as are Manchester United. We all know he's a free agent in the summer. Arsenal have him on their list. I mean, Sané, I like the guy on paper, but is it the Sané of YouTube? Is it the Sané of what we think? Is that the reality of what we're going to get? I don't know, people. So we're going to have to see that. Nico Williams on his failed move to Barca, he said, Lamine and Balde always kept messaging me, come here, brother. I said to them, I'll answer you. In the end, I talked to my family and made a decision. That's it. Could be on the move next summer. Gyökeres will be available for around 63 million next summer. Apparently 20 million less than his release clause. So there'll be a lot of people that are interested in him, people. Arteta on Moreno said, for me, Moreno's one is never a pen, but okay, if that is a pen, then the one on Mikel where Sommer punches him in the head has to be a pen 100%. These are the margins in this game. It's very difficult to accept. It is difficult to accept. But what's going to be more difficult to accept is how we went out there trying to win the game away from those 2 flashpoints. We're being linked once again with Hugo Larsson of Eintracht Frankfurt. We've gone over him before. A number of clubs allegedly are interested. What did the gaffer say? The worst thing of the night for sure is the result, because the performance, the attitude, the dominance that we showed against one of the best teams in Europe in this stadium. I haven't seen it in all the other games I've watched, but the reality is the result, pardon me, and we participated in that because we had many situations that we can resolve much better in front of goal and score at least 2 goals, and then extremely frustrated as well because there are 2 decisions at the end that marks the result and of course of the game. On the 2 penalty decisions for both teams, we've gone over that. On whether he feels we failed to create chances, Arteta, before I read it, please, man, please be honest. Please, bro. Please just say, sometimes just be honest. I don't understand this. Sorry, I'm reading the wrong thing. The concern tonight is the result. And obviously in both boxes at the end, we didn't do what we have to do. When we didn't, then someone else didn't. And that's it. For sure, this is the way that I want to see my team. All the big games that we have in Europe, by far, this was one of the best that we played in the last few years. Okay. Apparently on Moreno, he said he was not concussed, but yesterday and today he was not feeling great. After, when I looked at him, I decided to take him off because I need him 100%. Maybe. But that just tells me, you know what, maybe Moreno was looking shook out there. I got it wrong. Someone has to be sacrificed. And even the midfield that we had in the second half, like you slapped. I understand it. I said it in the preview. I thought Kai might play in midfield from the jump. I understand why Kai Havertz is in midfield. I do think it is one of those games where it's just fighting. But you've got Kai Havertz, Thomas Partey, Trossard is out there. Like, bro, what's going on? They told me I was greedy when I said we needed some central midfielders. Fair play, though, man. Fair play. On whether it will be difficult to pick the players up against Chelsea. If any player that needs picking up, leave the club. You need to get yourself up. You need to put your big boy pants on and pull yourself up. Now, in life, only you can save you, you know. You wanted this, you know, because as much as I'm vexed with where we are at the moment, the way we're playing, this is a position of privilege. You're playing in the Champions League. You're fighting for a title. You're earning big money. People are expecting you to win a league title. We've come a long way from those back-to-back apes. This is what you wanted. So rise to the occasional cut, man. And I don't care how good you are as a footballer. If your mentality is not there, I don't want you here. We play the way we play. We have a big chance to win against Chelsea. That we need to score. That's the way we have to go. I told them that I'm proud of them. I haven't seen them play in Europe in that manner that we have today. We are disappointed because we didn't get what we wanted out the game. That's for sure. Okay. Timber has said small moments decide the game. I'm not going to lie. I'm not saying Timber or Arteta or the fans. But generally around Arsenal, it's like people have a failure to understand this. Like people will say, "Oh, minus the penalty, it's 0-0. We didn't deserve to lose." I genuinely feel a lot of the people who work in the media, a lot of people who report on Arsenal, they are glorified losers and they lack integrity and honesty. Sometimes it's okay to say it's not good enough. Fair enough, man. It's tough. Very frustrating for us. I think we played a good game. We dominated a lot, but we didn't score. In the Champions League, you have to score if you want to win. It's a tough away game, and small margins can decide the game. We had 20 attempts on goal throughout the 90 minutes and almost twice as much possession as Inter. Even that. Do you not remember in that game, yeah, where Timber's... I mean, if I'm Timber being a fullback, I'm shameless. I'm saying I try to shoot. But for me, it's like he tried to put a cross in, and Jan Sommers punched it. Jan Sommer is the luckiest Inter player. No disrespect to him, because I think he's got the most clean sheets. But he didn't ask any questions. His goalkeeping was shaky. His kicking was shaky. And he's got a clean sheet. And they rested players. Inter Milan, fair play. Big up you lot. But we could not become the first team to score against them in the Champions League this season. Even that. I'll tell you, you know how good their defense is. What I saw, was that good enough to break them down? Fair play. This is not the Prem, bro. This is not the Prem. We're trying to break down an Italian team's defense. You know, anyone that knows football, historically, Italian defense, and that's the foolishness we're coming with. Fair enough, man. Now Timber is looking ahead to our clash against Chelsea. At the end, we felt confident. We had a couple of tough matches. On Sunday, it'll be tough again. But I believe in our squad. We have a lot of quality. Just need a little bit of luck in scoring more goals. I hear that. But what do they teach you in life? You make it home luck. Do you think when I went on TalkSport that they just randomly reached out to me, or did I kind of force the issue myself? I guess we'll never know. In scoring more goals, big them up. And like I said, I have a lot of trust in our team and we'll be fine for sure. By God's grace, bro. By God's grace, man. You need to get the Bible prayers out. Apparently, once again, Gyökeres's asking price is cut as Arsenal and Man United tip for transfer battle. I'm sure Man United need a striker. I don't know if it'd be Gyökeres. Obviously, there's fuel to the fire now with Ruben Amorim going there. Arsenal need a forward. We've been linked with him. Is the interest exaggerated? I don't know, but nonetheless, top clubs all over Europe are interested. The goals he's scoring is ridiculous. Obviously, with the way Amarin, Gyökeres, and all the other players mashed up, City is going to get clout. They've got so many players. That young winger's good. Diamande should be the first one that leaves Sporting to go to Manchester United. If you're a Manchester United fan, for that matter, Gyökeres baller. To be fair, we could do with Diamande as well with what you've seen defensively. So apparently, he's got 27 goals in 21 games for Sporting in Sweden this season. Apparently, he has an 83 million release clause, but is available for closer to 63. Now, on one hand, I actually think Gyökeres, I don't think you'll score that amount of goals. I do believe in you. I do think there's a bit of tax to be applied from the Portuguese league. I think if he signed for Arsenal, you forget the goals, look at his heat map, look at the amount of touches he has in the box. Then go and look at Kai Havertz. Something would need to change, right? But if you do go and look at the top goal scorers of the Portuguese league, you're going to see Carlos Vinicius. You're going to see Bastos. You're going to see who else? Darwin Núñez. I don't know. I think he's the truth. I think he's a good player. But that is something to consider. But for 63 million, you could hardly, in this day and age, boy, I'm not sure. Man United have been linked with him, of course. Arsenal are still going to be linked with strikers, people. He said, of course, you aim to test other leagues in a higher level, but I have no stress. To be fair, he did well in the Championship with Coventry as well, man. I mean, big up Kai, but you need a killer in front of goal. It's nothing to do with Kai Havertz. It's those that, Kai, you're doing your job. You're actually doing what you can. You're actually one of the first names on the team sheet. It's need to upgrade the team. Arsenal, we do this thing where we take players that are good as part of rotation and squad players. We make them first team regulars. And when they can't quite do it, we act surprised. There's too much romance. So, yeah, Man United want Gyökeres. We all know of his release clause. The price tag fluctuates depending on where you read people. I mean, 17 matches, 22 goals and 3 assists, 26 as well. So he's in that ripe old age. Portuguese top flight stats since the start of last season. He played 43 games, 45 goals, 11 assists, chances created 74, shooting accuracy of 51.5%. I don't know if that means anything. I mean, Kudus won't be able to play against Arsenal when we rock up against West Ham. He's had his ban extended to 5 games, people. Crazy. 3 of me and do nothing. We have been linked with John Duran. Apparently, Luis Enrique of PSG is falling in love with Duran, and wants the French club to make a move for him. Again, Sane links are not going away, as we know, people. Arsenal are unlikely to continue to pursue Lautaro Martinez, as he does not fit their age range for new signings. I don't think he's the answer. I love him as a footballer, but I think he needs a bit too much support and all of that. And he is, he's 27. You can't be linked with Gyökeres at 26 and then laugh at a man for being 27. You're 27. You're not 70. Can play for your time, really. But yeah, shout out to him. I don't think he's leaving. He's going to cost big money. Oh, what happened to Kivior there? Damn. Kivior apparently is surplus to requirements, people, and we're aiming to turn a profit on the 24-year-old who has only made 7 appearances so far this season, playing a measly 96 minutes in the Premier League, spread across 4 cameos. Even that, if he wants to leave, I hear it. But we said, is it wise to sell a man in January? Bearing in mind what we've gone over already. Of course, we can bring people in. If people, Kivior, I love him, but different reasons. But Kivior, Tomiyasu, Zinchenko, Gabriel Jesus, Jorginho, Partey, based on their contracts, and maybe some others. Yes, if offers are presented, there's some fans that will probably let them go. But is it wise to let these guys go in January and tear up an already thin squad that's being spread bare? Another thing we should have learned from in the summer. But yeah, we know he's been linked with AC, Inter, Juventus, Napoli, Bologna. But for all those links, he stayed put. So I have to see. On retails, Arsenal, they're not challenging for titles and identifies what the Gunners are not good enough at. Go on, spit some facts, King, man. Spit some facts. What has he said? Right now, they're not challenging for the league. As you can see, the results are not good enough to be at the top. My issue, and we've talked about it since match day 2, away from home, I don't think it's good enough. We are getting away with it for a very long time. Now we're not anymore. So let's see what happens against Chelsea. I don't think they're out of the race. Mathematically, you're not, but you're in free fall. You need to arrest this immediately. I think it will be extremely different because you have too many teams to catch. I don't see 2 teams collapsing. That's my issue. He said, I don't know what we're going to do. I'll be honest with you. Today, they were 1 goal down and Inter gave them the ball, so I don't know. No protagonists. You haven't got a manager that's breeding protagonists at this moment in time. And there's a quality factor. And there's a method to the madness, bro. Man, I just crossing the ball. There's teams that are probably worse than us on paper that will bop Inter or at least score some goals or at least put Jan Sommer under problems. They did, once again, what we were doing to teams last season. We got the goal for whatever circumstances. Have it. Come break down this low block and mid block. Second half, they're all in there off. Saliba's even putting in crosses. How many times you see Gabriel Magalhaes trying to be something? I don't care how tall you are in this team. Football's played on the floor. Fair enough. I'm a spoiled Arsene Wenger, baby. This is very tough to watch. Especially when it don't work. Especially when it don't work. Mainly when it don't work. Only when it don't work. But yeah, man, my heart's done bleeding. Smash the likes. Big up yourself, Patso. Appreciate you tuned in. Wait until stoppage time to sub on our best player. Blaming the manager is madness. Last night was a robbery and I'm a United fan. No pen for assault by Sommer. And that handball was a joke. Everyone takes blame. Like, as I always say, two truths can live in one realm. Cool. You can, probably done dirty with that Moreno handball against us. Probably should have got a penalty with Jan Sommer. Let's assume that those moments happen across a 2-minute period. So that's 4 minutes. That's great. Football's a 90-minute game, right? Well, go on for the other 86 minutes. Excluded, added on time. I'll even cut you that. I hear you, but what's going on? And these are the same things we're seeing week in, week out. It's like our team went insane yesterday, trying the same ish, but expecting something different to happen. Bro, at this point, it is what it is. Big up, my guy. Shout out in a circle. It's all downhill from now on. Even if it is, I don't want that. Of course, I don't want that. Stand up and fight. Stand up and fight. It's definitely not pre-recorded, man. Make sure you're following on Patso's channel since you wanted to shout out. Therapy session. Arteta already finished with Sterling. He didn't rate Sterling. Like, yeah, I'm sure he rates him as a person. He knows him, but that was a body. We messed about. We linked with Nico Williams. I'm sure there was probably some names we'll never find out that we ran around Europe trying to grab. Couldn't get it done. Chelsea said F off Sterling. We was like, you know what? Chelsea, we're not paying all of his wages. Cool, they cut us a little deal. Sterling's happy. Stay in London. Can still go and get Sunday dinner from mummy. He's calm. Do your thing. You're on the bench. You don't trust him. And again, the manager, I have to say, in his defense, the manager is allowed to utilize his players in whatever thing he wants. But I'm also allowed to be ignorant to a degree and ask questions. Sterling's on the bench. I don't even think Sterling is amazing and whatnot. But it's not happening for Martinelli. You've dashed on Jesus as well. You're not going to take off Saka for obvious reasons. Try something. Try something. We sent 40+ crosses to 3 monsters. It don't make no sense, man. No one there to finish things. No real inequality, man. There was a certain point in the game I was like, we ain't going to score. I just know the attack is not there. To be honest, I think we was going to score, man. You can only piss with the cock you're given. Arteta isn't to blame. It's the recruitment team. The fact you don't have a prolific striker and sticking with Arteta and Jesus is a joke. This is the stuff that pisses me off. I'm not saying you're wrong, but this is the ish that pisses me off. Arteta, not that there's been many. Arteta has become the manager. He's not the head coach. How many times, when you cut the Athletic come out and say, around David, I said this yesterday, around David Raya, around Kai Havertz, around Calafiori, there was concerns either about the player or the position and thinking we need to do that. Arteta pushed, Arteta got his way. Come on now. That's dead. We don't sign Kai Havertz. Nobody came and said sign Kai Havertz. Arteta wanted that. You wanted that. And yeah, it's working up front, but you wanted it in centre mid. Yes, Edu, you could have got something. You need to take responsibility for that summer as well. But we can't sit here and big up Arteta for his recruitment. A lot of people didn't want Martin Odegaard. He got, not so much now, he got a tune out of Martinelli. Saka's got better and better under him. The loan spells he put Saliba on, doing his thing. Gabriel's improved. David Raya is clearly an upgrade on Aaron Ramsdale. Benjamin White is fair to say that's work. Timber, that's work. Calafiori, that's work. Can't sit here and gas up Mikel Arteta's recruitment. And every time we sign a player, it's, he was watching him for a year and whatnot. And then the minute it goes left, blame everyone but the guy. Let's be very honest. Arteta is a spoiled child at this football club. As much as I like him, he gets whatever he wants. He does. He does get whatever he wants. And I'm not saying that's wrong, but with great power comes great responsibility. Come on, man. Everything is a reflection of the manager. In the same way when we're firing, we're doing well, big up yourself. You can't, when things go well, it's all Arteta PR. When things go left and we're all in this together, you can't, it's the players, it's this, it's that, it's the third, it's everything but Mikel Arteta. And I'm not saying to pitchfork, guys, let's just be honest. You can't big up the manager and then not ask questions when it goes left. Of course, Mikel Arteta is not Pep Guardiola. But you think there's not questions around Pep right now because of what's going on with City? Because he's wavy. You live by the sword, you die by it, man. By the way, did you see Timber yesterday draw past 2 players like it's nothing? Yeah. As long as we have Jesus, he's not the answer. Why does it seem like Arteta struggles attackers? Why does it seem like Arteta strangles attackers' natural instincts? It's to and from, because I think you have to have a way of playing, but I think he needs to take the shackles off purely in the final third. Your assessment of Moreno confirms the window should have been a 3 at best, my guy. Now Teta has dumped Sterling. I make it a 1 out of 10. Harsh. I like Moreno. I think there was just too much PR around Moreno. For me, I don't know. I'm not no religious watcher of Sociedad and all this like these experts. Moreno is in the team when you're a good player. The Spain team, you did score a goal and whatnot. You're in the team to make the others look wavy, and I'm not dissing him. You're there to win the ball back, be combative, give it to the Fabio Ruiz, etc. Moreno is a squad filler. Of course, there'll be great runs of form from him. He's doing his thing. I don't think he's dead. I have to give him time to adapt. I do think people are exaggerating stuff. I do think there's concerns. I don't think you're a difference maker, but I think you can bring something. But I can't get you. Arteta genuinely thought, you know what, Partey, if he sat there and said, Rice, Partey, Moreno, you lot are the options in the pivots, give or take Jorginho here and there, you assembled that. On one hand, you can only work with the tools that you've been given. But if you're a tradesman, whether you're a plumber, electrician, whatever, you've gone to, I don't even know, Halfords or Homebase, you're buying all the tools, the wavy tools, the new ones, you're getting them, you're putting them all together, and you're not able to do the job with the tools. Do you blame the tools or do you blame your competencies? He keeps going back to Havertz, left centre mid. Havertz is going to get Arteta sacked. We need a world-class striker in the left centre mid. Bro, the wickedest thing is you sign a striker, you're going to see Kai Havertz play a lot more in midfield. Honestly, you're going to people. It is what it is, man. Like, I've got a lot of time for Arteta. But at the end of the day, I love my football club more, and I don't know about anyone else. For me, it's the rough with the smooth. I praise you when you do well. Things are looking shaky. I have to ask questions. I don't know about anyone, but I didn't sign up to no negative cult. I'm not signing up to this positive PR, just praising and sucking dick, pardon my language, for no reason. Boy, I comment on what I see. If you're doing wavy stuff, you're doing wavy stuff. How many times have we actually been winning games and running away with games? And I've said, oh, we could have done this better. We could have done that. We need this. We need that. The problem is football's an emotional sport, and too many people are emotional. Like, too many people want to bury their hand in the negative sand or bury their head in the positive sand and just not look at what's in front of them. That's why you have people sack this, sack that, do the third. And that's why you've got people saying, oh, well, minus the penalty, we didn't play well. We played well. It's step in the right direction. We will get over this. I can only talk on what's in front of me, I don't know about you lot. Last season, 70% of our goals came from set pieces, be it direct set pieces or play generated after a set piece. We just had Odegaard last season to make it easy for us. In other words, we were They sat there and they told me we got 90 plus goals last season. I said, that's great. That shows you there's capacity. As I said earlier, I love the fact that we've added set pieces, assuming we can still do wavy stuff. But then when you lot told me I'm being negative, when I sat there and I said, yeah, cool, big up Kai Havertz for the goals. I think he'll get double figures this season. But he got that the majority of his goals came in the second half of the campaign. Trossard did very well. The first year Trossard came in, he was assist king. Last year, he got a lot of goals, right? Fair enough. He ain't doing it. But you see Martinelli go and get some goals. Jesus hasn't quite. And I sat there and I said, Saka is the only one that you could sit there in August and say he's going to be up there for goals and assists. Set pieces, it's a luck of the draw. We will all score from set pieces, but how sustainable is that? Goals win games. Defense wins titles, which at one point we look quite good defensively. Goals win games. You ain't really playing like a title defending. You're not really defending like a title winning side. Not looking like a team that can score goals. Don't know what's going on in midfield. I don't know. What you need to do is get out the rock. This board is satisfied with top 4. They do not care if we win anything. That's why we made profit this season, because that's what the board wants. Had it not be it, we would have signed a big name. I hear that, I hear that, but I'm not going to sit here and lie. Obviously, in the same way I say everything on the pitch is a reflection of the manager. Indirectly, if you own a football club, everything is your fault. Indirectly, it's your brand, it's your club, it's all of this. But I do not sit here and think we didn't win the Premier League because of the last 2 years, because of the Cronkies. It's positive and negative. It's what Edu and Mikel Arteta have done. If they've given you peas and you haven't spent the peas right, what's going on? I genuinely think the Cronkies sat there and said in the summer, to a degree, you don't need to get better in terms of outgoings. If he doesn't win a big one this season, he needs to step down. This was good work experience for him. Signed a new deal though, man. It depends on the context, man. I do think there has to be serious conversations, and I don't know what the plan is, but there has to be a plan. Arteta out and Zaki in. The issue is that he's drilled our attackers to get back and help out the defense to the point where I feel like it's all they're doing in training. That's true. And again, balance. Attackers need to be able to defend in the present day. But we're just not looking like a team that wants to score goals or really show our identity. So to the point where this has to be our identity right now. And when people, first it was comparing man to Pep, then it was Jose. Jose fucking what? Jose wins yesterday. Jose won a title with that defending stuff. If we had that Liverpool season where they had those injuries, we'd be out of European spots for sure. DG on the brave browser wave. Problem is, as I've said many times, Havertz was brought to be a midfielder, but he's failed in that position. So Arteta is stuck with Kai as a striker. Now he's worth 65 million. But that was what he did. That's what he did. He tried to do the midfield thing. It didn't bang. Arteta, you know more about football than me. And I'm not going to be disingenuous. Kai Havertz says clearly, like, he's played up front for Chelsea. He's won he scored a Champions League winning goal. But how can you look at Kai Havertz and Granit Xhaka and think Havertz can replace Xhaka in that left midfield role, especially the Xhaka of the last season? They're two very different players. Kai Havertz's main strengths are off the ball. And I like Kai. He's a fighter. He'll drop into midfield and muck in, pull over to the right. I like him. I actually think he's a good squad player. So it's got to the point, as I said earlier, I can't ask any more of you. Like, of course I can ask you to want to be better and things, but I think you're kind of excelling in what I expected, and you're kind of doing all you can. Something needs to give. And I think, you know what? Probably Kai Havertz was the worst thing to happen, really and truly, playing up front, because clearly the club clearly tried to sign a striker. He went for Sesko, but you were probably a bit complacent and thought, you know what? We do what we did last season. Kai's going to be up there. Arsene Wenger come out and, I'm not going to get into it, but just type in Arsene Wenger, Kai Havertz. Granddad don't lie. Does not lie. Havertz is never going to pass the eye test. He's definitely not a pretty player. Big up, DJ. I have a question. Do you think putting Odegaard back in the team will fix the final third, or is there more for Arteta to fix? It definitely boosts us, puts a spring in our step, probably helps us out defensively, but that's one man. If Odegaard has the thing, I'm not saying you're not doing this, but think about it logically, people. Yeah, if Odegaard has the ball and he receives it in midfield, and the other team have lower mid blocks, right? He looks up. What does he see? What can he do? And this goes for all the players. Naturally, a couple of times you're gonna have to force the pass, but you're going to go sideways. You're going to go backwards. You're going to try down the right, go down the left. Where is the runs? A lot of you watch football on the ball. The football is decided off it. What is going on off the ball in the final third? When you find out, tell me, man. All this box talk, and we buy Sterling. Emre wouldn't do much better. We need the elite of elites. Who is out there, man? I'm not gonna lie. Javi Alonso, you want to try? Like, becoming accustomed to these new age managers, man. We're paying for what Edu did back when he let Gomares go to Newcastle because we thought 50 million euros was too much for a player that profile. That shouldn't happen. But to be fair to Edu, I'm not backing him. How do we know that Edu didn't say, yo, let's go and get Gomares? I don't mind putting a bit more peas on that. Arteta said no. Because the players that you've come and seen, we've heard now, Arteta wanted Moreno for a year. Maybe it's propaganda. He wanted him for a year. He wanted Calafiori for a year. He wanted Raya for a minute. He wanted Kai Havertz. He spoke to him. The players he really dug deep and wanted are the money's been spent. Declan Rice, 100 million. So how far can we blame other people? How far? Real Madrid considering sacking Ancelotti, and Arsenal should be first in line to get him. Speak on it, broski. Big up yourself. Facts, we're dead in Europe away. I saw this L coming. Shout out Pure Vibes. As the man said, smash the like button. Big up to you for your TalkSport appearance. More to come. Hopefully, man. And it's only possible because of you lot. You're smashing like buttons. You're commenting. You're getting the engagement out there. We've hit a bit of a flack. We're in this weird thing where I think we're at like 63, 64 and like some change. Either way, it's like 10. Every day it's like 10 people subscribe. 10 people thingy unfollow, then 10 people subscribe. It's probably weird. So yeah, man, big up yourself for that, my dude. Yeah, we missed so many chances to get players at good prices. Is that Bruno, Eze, Elise, Kudus, and we got Vieira and Kai Moreno instead. 100%. We tried to be so smart, and I'm not gonna lie. When it comes to Edu and Mikel Arteta, one thing I have liked is that we're prepared to not sign anyone or not sign players that don't make sense. But at the same time, I always feel like there's this with Arsenal. It's almost like there's this mythical kind of footballer like that we're looking for. And I'm not saying to sign anyone, but I would understand that if we were Real Madrid, if we've achieved what Man City have done. I'm not saying sign anyone for any reason, but what's going on? And fans, we do get it wrong. Some of you wanted Buendia over Odegaard. That's great. But the club have fumbled, man. Isaac should have been here. Gamara's defo should have been here. 100%. Should have been here. He's a squad player, man. Moreno's a squad player. 100%. Bare rookie mistakes. By ish, I mean not good enough. Smith Rowe and Willock are honestly better than Moreno. Tell me, when was the last time we tried to sign an actual exciting young prospect? Not signing, actually trying at least. We never even tried. There's no sense of urgency to go better than top 4. Hella complacent. When was the last time we've had, you know what? Somebody said it in my what? Oh, we're frozen. This is annoying. Am I still here? What's going on? Am I still here? Yeah, as I was saying, somebody said it in my watch along yesterday. When was the last time we actually came back from a goal down? We could technically say City, but somebody said no. They said, when did we come back from a goal down and win? And it's one way I was like, what do you mean? It feels like we, not so much now, but it feels like we did that the other day. And then you actually think about it, boy, I think there's plenty of things to be optimistic about Arsenal, but equally there's negatives, and there's, as we've known, there's enough to get excited about, and there's just enough to be pessimistic about, and then you're in this weird little thing. And a lot of it comes down to squad depth. Of course, we want 1 million players, but it's better to have it and not need it than to need it and not have it. Like a lot of these things that we're struggling with, we've either seen it last season or we've seen it historically. You know, I'm not saying you shouldn't have let Smith Rowe and Fabio Vieira go, but you know, you brought in some good additions. I think Moreno will be a good squad player. I think everyone likes Calafiori. Who else did we sign? Sterling is what it is for a year. That weren't what we wanted, but it is what it is. Neto, cool, you're here for a year as well. I think the additions, I guess indirectly, it might be more players Arteta trusts. Not that you're seeing them play too much, but I asked you lot in the summer, is Arsenal's squad, keyword squad, is it stronger? No, it's not. No, it's not. Sane, just another market opportunity signing, no transfer fee and only wages pay plus agent fees. I don't know. I've watched a lot of Sane. He's not better than what we got. I like Sane, but it's a name thing, isn't it, really? It's just a name. Lookman's moving mad, to be fair. Trossard stunk up the joint. Trossard stunk up the joint. But when I said Trossard's overrated, then you know me. When I say overrated, I just think people are doing too much. You lot got on to me. And I think people are being kind of harsh on. Yesterday was dead. I actually think people being a bit harsh on Trossard. He's a squad player. You can assist us. But again, you take squad players. They have to become first team regulars. You can get away with it game in, game out on occasion. Fair play. Fair enough. If you're a Jokeres, are you following Amorim to United or coming to Arsenal 5? But you're going to follow Amorim, isn't it? It depends, because let's be honest, I'm not going to do the doom and gloom thing. I think Arsenal Man United is quite close. I think Arsenal do have not so much now, but an exciting project. You could probably think, yo, they've got Zertsky and they've got Højlund. Kai Havertz come out of that spot. The London aspect, there's many reasons to want it. But of course, Manchester United is still Manchester United. You know, again, Man United and Arsenal have been down in the dumps and well, we ain't been signing world-class players and things, but they've both teams, even Chelsea to a degree, still attracting players. Even how far does it go with the Champions League stuff? Because everyone says Champions League, you can attract players. Bro, man, are signing guys. There's still plenty of reasons. Now, if you're him, you're like, well, Amorim's there. To be fair, I back myself over Højlund and Zertsky. Historical big club and all that jazz. I know the manager. I think he picks United, but I think it's like that. But the problem is, these are the things that you should have done in the summer. These are the guys that you should have probably been trying to tie up loose ends from now about. Boy, he's saying if the manager doesn't start Ethan or Odegaard on Sunday and starts Trossard, there's nothing I can say. Like, I can see that. You have to start Odegaard. You have to start Odegaard. I don't think he's starting Ethan. If you're not starting Odegaard, fuck it, start Ethan. Start him. If he stinks out the place, take him off. But just for the very fact that I like Ethan, we all think he should be exposed to more minutes. We have to take time with it. And I do think to a degree, Arteta isn't managing his squad properly, in my opinion. but I think he's handling the development of Ethan great. Expose him to that, man. Just for the very fact that he dropped his shoulder and shot, start him. Start him. He understands the assignment. Start him. Easy. You have to start Odegaard. You have to start him. He's got an extra couple of days in training. Start him. I need to see Declan. But oh boy, Declan Rice. I don't even know if you're gonna be fit. But I need to see if everything's great. I need to see Martin Odegaard, Declan Rice, Partey. Now I don't know if he's gonna go with Odegaard. Well, I don't even know. He might. There's a big reason as to he might just go Moreno, Partey, and I'm missing Declan Rice purely because I don't think Chelsea start Enzo Fernandez. I don't. I think they're playing a bit of a game with Cole Palmer's fitness, but I don't think they start Enzo Fernandez at this moment. Chelsea won't quite say form, but they're kind of finding some balance. It looks like Caicedo and Lavia gives them, more so Lavia where it comes to passing the ball forward. No disrespect to Caicedo, but they got the balance of physicality and all that crap there. You need to start him. Could you argue? Well, Sterling can't play, but could you argue? And I know I would probably start Mr. GM Martinelli left wing, but could you argue Odegaard, Partey, Declan Rice, Trossard left wing? Martinelli, you might have to hold bench. That Samu guy from Porto looks decent. You can see why Chelsea were onto him. Yo, DJ just finished work. Watching DJ. Appreciate you, Dills. Big up all the 9-to-5ers out there. As an Inter fan, there's a huge pen on Moreno, but on the other hand, Inter's penalty is a clear handball. Fair enough. Like, at least you're being consistent with it. But even that, like, for me, yeah, probably should have got a pen, but we can't, and it does annoy me. But we can't control the refs. I know the Premier League and the champs, and generally the ref in the champs is great. I know it's not the same as Sunday League, but anyone that's played football in any country you lot live in, all of you lot that have played amateur football, what's the first thing? If your manager or your coach or your dad was serious, what's the first thing they teach you? Play to the whistle. Don't rely on the ref. The ref's an idiot. Assume he's a muppet. I know these lot have been footballers for a while and all of that, but let's not forget where they came from, man. Let's not forget where they came from. Bro. Martinelli's been dead. I'm rocking with Martinelli to the end, but you've been dead. You need to hold bench. You need to upgrade. You lot can't accuse me of not saying, when you look at Arsenal's front three, unless you can, and I've said this before, unless you can find a player twice the ability of Bukayo Saka, Saka's keeping that right-hand side. Kai Havertz, you're still part of the squad. We're not saying alienate you. You need a number 9. You want ideally a versatile attacker, a versatile inside forward winger, whatever you want to call it. You're playing left-hand side. And I want a winger and a striker. I personally think Arsenal are going to do the whole kind of copy in Liverpool where they had Mane, Salah, and Firmino. Obviously, Kai Havertz is not Firmino, but in terms of being a facilitator, that's him. You go and find someone that's putting up Bukayo Saka's numbers, and we keep it moving. And they might even just find a backup striker, really. Gallera, Rodrigo, and Tchouameni will be shipped off in the next 2 years. But hey, let's get into conversations with Real Madrid. Boy, Havertz crossing the ball to Hazy. Bro, even that. I'm seeing Havertz left wing. I mean, the Kroenkes indirectly have to get the blame, but under Mikel Arteta, we can criticize the Kroenkes how they run the club, but I have to accept you lot they do this thing where they get a manager they believe in, they put people in place, kind of hands off. Fair enough. Josh Kroenke's been a bit more on the front line. That's what they do. They showed courage to take a novice manager. They showed courage to not sack him when he got back 8. They've allowed him to fail where really and truly you could have got sacked at other clubs. There was a bit of light at the end of the tunnel. You've had 2 transfer windows. You spent an ish load of money. You've teared up contracts. You've sold you've bought players, and the ones that signings don't work out. Not everyone works out. We know that. But the ones that haven't worked out, we haven't got too much bang for our buck. You were allowed to buy players. You were allowed to buy a new keeper in Raya where, again, it's worked. Fair play. But at the time, Ramsdale was calm. You're allowed to buy defender on defender on defender. You're allowed to spend 65 million on Kai Havertz, in which 100% that wasn't universally agreed in at the football club. They've given you money. They've allowed you, even going back to when we missed out on top 4 to Spurs, there was money to spend in January. You didn't do it. They've allowed you to do your job. They've given you everything. Are the Kroenkes to blame for why Arsenal have not won a league title in the last 2 years? Seriously. Or do we, and I'm not saying that I wouldn't want Saudi money or, someone with a bit more emphasis on wanting to win and a bit harsher, but are they? Because I'm looking at how we played over 38 games last season and those fine margins. And Arteta's going to make mistakes like everyone, but you need to learn from your mistakes now, bro. You need to learn from mistakes now, bro. One love for the rebuild, my guy. Are you on getting over the line? Because I have no doubt you're going to go off and be a good manager and win things. But I only care if you win things at Arsenal. How many all week? What did I say to you? Look, the one thing I don't want is you learn everything you need to learn here. You F off and a next man or a next team enjoys the fruits of your labor. I like Arteta, but I don't really care about you beyond the fact of right now you're the man in the Arsenal position. We came back down last year from Everton away. I hear that. Big up yourself, Mark Henry. That name always makes me laugh. I used to watch WWE. Trossard is starting because Odegaard is out and no one else fits there. Be under no illusion. Probably, man. Big up Lee, man. Lee gonna think Salvio and Ahmad are better than Saka. Everyone's entitled to their opinion, Charlie. I don't quite agree with that, but yeah, man, he can have his opinions. One love for the super chat. Arteta replaced Xhaka for 100 mil. 3 ex-City players: Sterling, Jesus, Zinni, Sterling, 2 ex-Chelsea, and Havertz, Jorginho, and Reino, same first name, nationality, and position as himself. I think he liked all these players. It's just you get what you pay for. And to be fair, Zinni and Jesus were just upgraded. And I personally feel in that, honestly, I feel we've probably kicked on as a club more than everybody at Arsenal assumed. And what I mean by that is we're doing the rebuild thing. Suddenly we're in 2-3, including this season title challenge. And I think that it's moving at a pace that they probably don't want. Honestly. 33 seasons, 33 seasons Premier League, only 5 permanent managers will stick as long as we challenge. United ain't getting top 4, it's 26. I hear that. But then, he'll sit there and Amorim could say, listen, I've just come in for the job. Right now, what's left of the season for United, really and truly, it's a free hit. We're back next year, or we're doing things. And, we can't underestimate, sometimes agents and all these people play games, but I'm sure he said we went to Sporting because of Amorim. I'm not the type to wish bad on my club, but I hope we finish 6th or 5th so the owners can get more serious and bring in better players. I hope not, and we've been there. Where did that go? Funny that owners said when we get back in the Champions League, we'll sign elite players, but since then, Moreno or Sterling. That's where Arteta's recruitment needs to hold that. And also, that's where Edu has been concerned. Because that's the thing. Josh Kroenke and Stan, the man, they are businessmen, billionaires. They do this business thing. They don't know football. Arteta is now the only footballing man there. You've got guys that are very skilled businessmen, do all that balance sheet crap. Who's a footballing man? The one is Arteta. And you don't have that guy that had the balance, the David Dean, the guy that was a businessman but understood football as well, could save Wenger from going. Wenger, all managers are mad bastards. But when Wenger went a bit too left, and there's probably a correlation with, all the changes during the Emirates era and when David Dean left and the shares and all of that crap as to kind of how it went even more left for Wenger. Wenger was allowed to be a madman, but when he was going too mad with it, David Dean pulled him in and said, yeah, chill out with that. We need to do this. You get it? Arteta don't have that. Let's be honest. In the structure of things, Edu is probably ranked higher. He's probably ranked higher than Mikel Arteta. Well, when he was here. But we all know this man Arteta, your voice is a lot louder than Edu's. If it comes down to it, you were going to be the one being picked. We're back to being a banter club. I can't accept it at all. Realistically, only Martin, Odegaard, B, and Magalhaes are irreplaceable. Forgetting Saliba. Every player is replaceable, man. At some point, unless you're Lionel Messi. This performance reminds me of when Arteta first came to Arsenal and Tierney and Bellerin just kept crossing over and over again with no result. It is an entire collective. We are close, but not doing enough to get over the line. We're just happy to be racing here. It's like going to the bar, finding a very attractive woman or man. If you're a woman out there, talking, you're getting on, flirting is going on. Should we leave the bar? You jump in the Uber, in the whip. You get to the yard, you're calling, you're on the bed. If you could just chill out, Jimmy's are coming out, and you're not clarting. This is what Arsenal are in terms of a title challenge. We definitely need more technicians in the middle, man. I remember when we used to drive ourselves sick of these technicians. Now, boy, we need a DOF with skin in the game to balance out Arteta's inexperience. There you have it. We are signing players we can get in Europa. Boy. If we don't lose at Stamford Bridge, I'd be surprised. If we don't lose at Stamford Bridge, I'd be surprised. A huge form dip was always coming with how much we've punched above our weight for so long. Boy, I don't know what to say, man. All I can say is I'm going to ride the highs and lows with you Arsenal fans, man. And I just feel a bit better, man. I got a lot off my chest speaking to you lot. So, yeah, people are being harsh on Martinelli, not trust. Like, to be fair, everybody's getting it, man. And I'm a fan of fair criticism and praise. I'm not here to attack the manager or like overly attack the manager, overly attack the players. That's not helping anybody. How do we move from this? And I don't have the answers. And to be honest, I'm glad I'm not Mikel Arteta. You better, boy, you should have stayed up all night. You should have stayed up all night figuring this out. Maybe you need to listen to, there might be, because you look at Pep and Mikel Arteta and all these guys, they surround themselves with counsel. Maybe the coaches there must be a one coach there telling you to do something else. And maybe you're being devil's advocate, maybe not listening. Because even Mikel Arteta, I've never been wowed by the attacking play. But there was times, like, if you was to type in the best goals we've scored under Mikel Arteta, there's been times we really popped the ball from back to front. There's been some good passes and all of that. I don't know what's going on now. And when you lot find out, let me know, people. But with that being said, appreciative to you lot across YouTube and Twitch. Don't forget to smash the like button, people. Don't forget to vote for me for Footy Blacklist as well. One love to you lot who have as well already. There's a link there, people. Again, make sure you're following on Twitch and YouTube. Leave a comment after. And big up you lot, man. Like, it's always appreciated to be speaking Arsenal with you lot. Some of you don't support Arsenal, so football. So, yeah, man, I'm going to go on Troopsy stream now. You lot stay safe, stay blessed. Join us over there. Peace.